this is a giant broke off piece of bone. From what creature exactly? He's saying you could see that a door was once here. They took the door off. They pillaged. People getting excited about the wrong things. The Super Bowl playoffs. Where's the next Hibiscus show at? He's probably doing it to the beat. What's good, everybody? Happy Father's Day to all the amazing fathers out there and to the single moms that's out there doing double duty. I was raised by a single mom, so I get it. But to all the fathers that's out there kicking in like Bruce Lee, we just want to say we appreciate you and thank you so much for everything you do. But with that being said, hit that like and subscribe button and let's dive into all these mysterious and disturbing TikToks and theories while we try to make sense of it all. Take a look at this mysterious sunset. It's like something out of a fantasy movie. I mean, how beautiful is this? Just the start of it looks like some type of painting in the sky. And then it slowly transitions to this like electric sky with the rustic desert plain just blending in so well with the clouds above. I would just be walking around that place in awe, just looking everywhere. How stunning is this in Arizona? I had no idea Arizona could look like this.
Yeah, that's pretty much what I do this moment.
That moth is literally bigger than a bird. That is insane. And look at this orange one over here. This is pretty cool. It's like this light and sheet is like attracting all of them. I wonder if this is what they do. They have to. Look at this camera. You better be careful. I'm sure if they got moths that big, they got spiders that big. Look at the dragon. Oh, that's pretty cool. You know, I never been to a concert. I don't think ever in my life besides like one a church had when I was little. But this right here, this is cool. I wouldn't even be watching the band or whatever. I would be watching this dude spin this neon dragon. How cool is he? He's probably doing it to the beat. The wildest, most mysterious place I've ever seen in my life. Deep inside a forbidden canyon.
Like, you're gonna love this one. Look at this. Look at the precision. My goodness. Guys, this looks like it was 3D printed by a CNC machine. Like, look at these edges. Look how sharp it is for 3,000 years old. Wow! Can you imagine what it looked like before? They probably had it painted. My goodness.
How cool is this? This is huge. And he sounds just like me. I'm always saying, man, these look like they were CNC printed somehow, man. This is cool. This is some good stuff, guys. Huge shout out to Mr. Mountain Beast.
The sky is beautiful. The color is just perfect right now. This is when I find myself with the most energy. When the sun starts to go down. Man, look at these corners. Look how sharp that stonework is.
These have the same precision as all the Capitol buildings we'll see downtown. You go downtown in your city, you'll see buildings with the same symmetry.
It's been the same for 3,000 years or older. Man. And then everything used to be painted, but of course it's all gone now. Of course there's a bit of graffiti. Man. How much would you guys pay to go back in time? And you can tell there was a beautiful door at one time. The rub marks are still there. What the heck was that sound?
Man, he better get out of there. I'm worried about him, man. Obviously, they've been excavating that place. They took out all the artifacts. Look! For all we know, there could have been some type of energy device in here. Look at this excellent finding. He's saying you could see that a door was once here. They took the door off. They pillaged. Look, they pillaged whatever was inside here. This could be what G.E. Kincaid was talking about when he was walking through here and they saw it could be a giant in here for all we know. A skeleton of giants. And they just bust the door open. The door was authentic. They said, you know what? This door's got to come with us too. Look, you look at the sides. They pried the door off, guys. Look at the sides right here. They took a crowbar on each side and they pried the doors off. Look, I'm not making this up. Look at the sides. This was probably a sealed tomb or sarcophagus or something. And they said, you know what? We're getting in here. I don't know if they took a crowbar, some type of tractor, some type of, what's it called? Jackhammer. Man, they got in there. What do you guys think that was in here, guys? This is absolutely mind-blowing.
What the heck was that sound?
And then they got the Black Hawk helicopters coming for them. Oh my goodness.
Look at all these strange drill marks. That's pretty weird. Look at the fine stonework there. The tool marks. Like, you're gonna love this one.
He wasn't lying. I did love that. But I'm mad at how they just desecrated this door to get inside. They left nothing. You can't see a mural. No hieroglyphic in sight. If you're enjoying this video, be sure to hit that like and subscribe button because we do these videos every single day. And I love to see you around here. So let's get straight back into the action.
But I'm more interested about this huge building. It was like multiple stories. Whoa. My goodness, guys. Oh, I wish you guys could see the colors in real life.
You can hear the reverberations from his voice inside this place. Not only did it have some type of intricate design at the ceiling, they designed it so your voice could echo through it. Did you hear that?
They are so red. The camera does not capture that. But it was indeed multi-leveled. As you can see where supports went in there. Oh, wow. I'm pretty sure they just used this as beds all on the outside. And then you can just sit right here. It's a perfect bench. Whoa. I'm gonna set you guys down. Walk over here. Just to give you guys a little sense of scale.
Real quick, look how big he is and look at the centerpiece, you know? It's making me think that somebody possibly 7, 8 foot, even 9 feet tall could walk through the center part. It's almost like it was like everything they made back then with bigger doors, bigger buildings, bigger ceilings. It's almost like they accommodated giants.
But I'm more interested.
If you remember my previous video on the Himalayan rock salt and need further proof of our realm's much larger biology hidden all around us in plain sight, then take a look at this video. It's not just seeing the faces on the mountains or small rocks resembling flesh. It goes much bigger than that.
Biogeology, the study of petrified fragments of giants. Now these are theories, but not an exact science. Could have this been the inside of a digestive system of a giant? Now, as you can see the diagram that I did bring up, and you can see the circular folds, and you can also see how identical they look.
Guys, I mean, how similar is this? It looks like an inside of a cave, but look at the inside of a human digestive tract. You know, so is really the inside a cave, this giant Nephilim he's walking through? And it just got fused with the ground somehow? Because you got to think of like a giant's molecular structure. You know, they're probably not made from the same DNA a human is. So maybe their body might decompose differently. Instead of naturally decomposing with the earth, it might have hardened. And then that's how we get like these specimens of the day or something, you know what I'm saying? How else can we explain it? Millions of years, this accumulating in a cave? Where do they find most of these specimens and geodes and stuff? Caves. This could be a Nephilim booger or something, you know what I'm saying? I don't know. But one thing I do find out that's interesting is that all geology is just petrified biology.
Also see how identical they look. Now, could have this been the entrance of the large intestine as shown in the diagram up above? Now, if you look at the diagram of the large intestine up above, and to your left you see the cave wall, you can see the identical similarities to both of them. Now, could this cave just have been a digestive tract of a giant? Now, according to research, these so-called rocks have a composition of venous blood, which is a purple blood and has composition of iron. And on the back side of this rock, you can see the uncanny flesh look to this rock. Now take a look at this trabecular bone and compare it to this. Now you can see the similarities to the trabecular bone. Now you can see a good example of this Swiss cheese looking trabecular bone, and in the channels you can see the red iron ore, and you might think this is just earth packed in from flooding. But if you look at this larger example, you can see that this is not earth, this is actual iron ore coming out of this trabecular bone.
Wow, so they're saying these are giant pieces of bone? This is a giant broke off piece of bone. From what creature exactly?
You can see that this is not earth, this is actual iron ore coming out of this trabecular bone. Now, could this be here, the fragments of giants scattered all over? Now, as we get closer, you can see the different tissue of the surface of these so-called rocks. Now, again, here I've added more examples of tissues just to show the different similarities to these so-called rocks. Now, this rock has the uncanny look of a lung, and if you look closely, you can see all the ventricles that would be visible in a lung. Now, here is a diagram up above like that. You can see the different type of ventricles. Now, just by looking at the lung diagrams and looking at the so-called stone, you tell me there's not a possibility this can be true. Now, like I said before, this is all theory, but after seeing this video, you'll probably never look at a rock the same. But could there be some truth in this theory?
Drop it in the comments below.
Just take a look at this. One of the few bells of the old world survived, hidden and buried in Lithuania. This beautiful massive bell, over 100 years old. Look at the machinery it takes to lift it out of that hole. Just look how heavy it is. But what happened to all the bells of the old world? Where did they all go? The ones that used to adorn all of the church's towers. They tell us they were removed and melted down for ammunition in one of their many ill-fought wars at our expense. But what we were intentionally not made to realize is just how important these bells were in the old world. Churches, temples, buildings adorned with bell towers were not just idle places of worship. They were the healing centers of the old world, operating similar to the principles of the Rife-machine, using frequency and vibration, a technology and capability known very well in the old world. Why would we be allowed such empowering freedoms? There is no profit and control to be had in a healthy patient. And that's definitely not the business model of modern medicine. Question everything, friends. Until next time.
And then the last image is a giant carrying these giant bells. I just was thinking, how are they able to move these giant bells in the day? Like, you see, it takes this. You see a tractor is dragging this one out in Lithuania. But if we analyze this picture, it's like they're using some type of chain slash pulley system to lift them or drag them out of a cathedral. Let's punch it in. Let's see when the first tractor was invented. When was the first tractor invented? Alright guys, look, I just punched in the first tractors ever invented. And if we just look at them, you know, these are some lightweight tractors. They don't look like they can hold that giant bell, you know. They're using something to pull them out. What exactly, they don't know. But I think they might have just found these bells and they were like, hey, you know, they're not using them anymore. Let's melt them down. Look at all of them. They were harvesting the bells. I say we clean this one off and start ringing it, because something didn't like the vibration.
This is the Paris Opera House, and it was supposedly completed in 1875 at a cost of roughly $7.5 million. think about that for a second. This wasn't a palace. It wasn't a government building. It wasn't even a royal residence. It was an opera house. Yet according to historical records, it contained an estimated $10 million worth of furniture and decorations. In the 1800s, walk through the building and the scale is difficult to ignore. Colored marble from around the world, grand staircases rising several stories high, towering Corinthian columns, gold leaf covering nearly every surface, and ceilings filled with elaborate artwork. It feels less like a theater and more like a monument built to impress generations. But that's where the questions begin. Because the Paris Opera House wasn't the only structure like this. During the late 1800s, enormous buildings appeared across the world. Capitals, train stations, post offices, exhibition halls, structures so elaborate that many still seem difficult to explain today. And according to the theory, these buildings may not have been constructed the way we've been told. Some researchers believe they were inherited, repurposed, and given new identities by the people who came later. Because when you look at the Paris Opera House, it feels like much more than a place built for entertainment. It feels like a relic from another age. This is the Paris Opera House, and it was supposedly completed in 1875.
You know, so they had these giant buildings in the background, but they were also showcasing these beautiful gardens and these exotic plants. You know, how hard did they go? And those sunken gardens was actually in the Louisiana Purchase Exposition. If you thought I didn't have another excellent specimen for you today, think again. Alright guys, we're remixing it just for today. This is a special edition from a Hibiscus show. I had no idea they had a Hibiscus show. Take a look at this.
Here are the blooms from the Lone Star show. These are the amateurs. Very nice. Little tenderness. Another nice black dragon. TJ Flambeau. This is kind of cool. That's Ian Sunnyfellow. We named it after my son. That's the two doubles. And then here you got to pick one of these. These are the people that have 75 or less.
This orange one's nice.
Plants. And these are the doubles in that same category. These are the people that have over 75. And there's actually not that many. This used to be the major category in Texas. Not that many. The rest of them are commercial, which is basically me and Peanut. So
don't let this one in the top right escape you. Look how it has like the golden petals and the smoky inside. I like that one. That's probably my favorite one so far. And this one on the bottom left is massive.
Here's the ones that we have. Nice Texas star. Going down, drama queen. Push.
She is dramatic, isn't she?
That's Mountain Maru. You don't see that very often. That's also from Pushpa. Danny's Purple Rain.
I'm sorry, guys, but he's going fast, and all of them are just so unique. This one with the clouded spots. And look at the one in the back, the Midnight Night Stallion in the back.
Look at the size of that Hannah's Love. Can you see the difference in size on that? Also, there's a moon blossom right here and a blood splatter, which won last week.
A blood spatter? What a unique name.
It's no longer a seedling, it's considered a regular bloom now. Some more of that category, and then we're going to get into doubles. And so these are the doubles in the commercial category. Pick one out of that. We're going to go.
I can't believe he didn't talk about that one. This watermelon strawberry tie-dye right here. That one was massive.
We're going to go into mini. So here are the minis. And then mini doubles are basically these. And then this is the seedlings. These are the minis in the category. And probably the biggest competition is going to be for mini. Mini double is only one. Regular double is only one. And then this is the regular seedlings. So that's the ones from Lone Star today. See if you can pick the winners.
That would be tough. Look at this chocolate hibiscus right here. Man, so many. How do you choose? I love all of them. How do you honestly choose? I know this judge is sweating. I guess. But a hibiscus show, man. I didn't know. I did not know they did this. People getting excited about the wrong things. The Super Bowl playoffs. Where's the next hibiscus show at? That's all we got for today's video. If you enjoyed this video, be sure you hit that like and subscribe button and drop the code word in the comments below. The code word for today is what are they hiding? When you put what are they hiding in the comments below, that shows me you're a real one. You made it all the way through the video and you really rock with your boy. I just want to say thank you. I love you guys. Thank you for hanging out with me, and I'll see you guys soon.